Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. And today, I am going to bring you the results and my thoughts on NWA 74 weekend. That's right, it took place over 2 nights, both Saturday and Sunday. So, I hope you got a bit of a meal with you this time, and a big gulp, because I'm going to go through with it. So, end of the day, let's do this. So, we got a couple pre-show matches for night numero uno. So let's get through them really quick. First match, you've got the Country Gentlemen, that being AJ Kazana and Anthony Andrews, take on Gold Rush, that being Jordan Clearwater and Marche Rocket, who are a part of Idol Sports Mania. We'll get to them in a bit later. Overall it was a decent match. They didn't go super long, but I thought they got enough time to really show their stuff, especially the new guys. The Country Gentlemen are, I guess they're sort of new. They debuted this month on NWA, and I think they're pretty good. Country Gentlemen got their first win, so I'm happy by that. Next up, kind of a squash match, but a bit of an extended, as Red Titus took on VSK. I'm sure this match happened on GTS once, maybe back in the day. They made VSK look really good. They did give him some offense, but not a ton. Red Titus with the big dog boot and the win. So, another fun match. Next, yeah, we're not out of the pre-show yet, so just hang on. We got Rodney Mack taking on the Pope. We'll talk about the Pope a bit later. Aaron Stevens is now managing Rodney Mack, which is very weird because he retired not too long ago. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, Rodney Mack with a very quick submission. Match was kind of okay. Like, it wasn't great, but I had fun with it. The big thing came post-match when Mack and Stevens were beating down Pope. Out came Aaron Stevens' former tag team partner, J.R. Kratos, making his big NWA return, as he's been doing stuff with Team Filthy over in New Japan. So yeah, Kratos runs them off. Later on in the evening, Stevens comes out of retirement for a tag team match between Mack, himself, Pope, and Kratos for night 2. So, nice little setup for night 2, which was, I'll talk about that one. That one was kind of fun. Next match, we got a tag team match, Playa. And it's a pick your poison match, which I guess on night 2 they had a stipulation set up for this. It's Caprice Coleman and Gustavo Aguilar, who is relatively new, as they take on Kobe Carino and Wrecking Ball Legursky. This match went a little bit longer than the other pre-show matches. I enjoyed it very, very much. Winners, Caprice Coleman and Aguilar. So, oh no, there's a singles match on night 2. It's Coleman versus Carino, and that match is going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, which I guess I didn't hear that because I didn't have the volume on. I had some guests last night. So, yeah, that was pretty fun. So, first match on the main card, a bit of a short one, but it didn't need to be super long, as EC3 beat Mims, which, it was a decent bout. Mims didn't get much offense, but that's fine. Gonna give, right over here. Post-match, out comes Tom Latimer, who, after EC3 kind of shamed NWA, I guess. Latimer came to NWA's defense, and they're going to have a match on night 2, which I will talk about. Alright, next match is the Beelzebub Bedlam match, which is basically it's a street fight, Extreme Rules type deal. Weapons are encouraged, and they just, as it's the Miserably Faithful, which is Juditas, Sal the Pal, and Gags the Gimp, took on the Ill Begotten, which is Alex Taylor, Jeremiah Plunkett, and manager Danny Dios, who took the brunt of the damage, in which I was impressed by that. There was one spot where I believe it was Sal on a ladder. He had Alex Taylor in a suplex, and they both just kind of fell into the ropes, which was scary. I hope both guys are okay. Miserably Faith. No, it was Judias with a choke slam for the win. I'm gonna give this a thumbs up. This was a chaotic, fantastic bout, which honestly I think this show kind of needed right now. Next match was kind of a nothing match. They did give this time. They kind of just added it last minute. It's Chris Adonis versus Odinson. Now, if you don't know Adonis, he's the former Chris Masters. Big chiseled dude. Master Lock Challenge, if you remember him. I used to really like him. I do still kind of really like him, honestly. Adonis definitely tries to go for the Master Lock a couple of times, but Odinson gets out of it. Ultimately, Odinson with the low blow in front of the ref, and that causes the DQ. Really didn't want a DQ finish. I really don't like those. Especially with the match that was going on. I really enjoyed it. So, sadly, it's going to be a thumbs right here for me. Next up, we have a singles match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship, as Homicide takes on Kerry Morton, the son of Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express, who is ringside. A lot of great counters in this match. A lot of, not really high flying, but high speed. Like, there wasn't really the usual dives, like for the X division or the Cruiserweight division. But it still had that high energy that I like from those divisions. Homicide with the low blow. And, Cop Killer. I'm going to call it what NWA call it. For the pin and the win. So, I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. And then it sets up, later in the evening, Ricky, who is a little pissed off at Homicide, challenges him for night 2. So, I like stuff like that. I like stuff that sets up stuff. It's good storytelling. Speaking of interesting storytelling, we have Matt Cardona's in-ring return, and it was a mystery opponent. Ooh. Who is the opponent? Why, it's Ronaldo Freeman, who is the older brother, even though he's shorter, of Rush Freeman, who we will see in the Battle Royal to crown the new U.S. Tag Team Champions. And everyone thought Cardona was going to win easily. Via roll-up, your winner, Ronaldo Freeman. I did not see that coming. I love that. And this is just going to push Cardona further. Oh, I'm very interested in this story. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Ronaldo, keep your brother and his tag team partner close. Trust me. Oh, man. Next up, we got the Burke Invitational Gauntlet for a shot at the NWA Women's Championship on night 2. Now, participants, we have Max the Impaler. Hold on. Kylan King started us off, and then she was joined by Samantha Starr, who is relatively new for me. I enjoy that. Natalia Markova, who NWA have been pushing very well. Missa Kate, a bit of a newbie to the NWA, but definitely a fresh face. Maddie Rankowski, who is pretty entertaining, I will say that. Taryn Terrell, who is less of a wrestler these days and more of just, a geecher. Let's call her that. Tootie Lynn, who is a fantastic talent. I hope her tag team partner Kylie Ray comes back at some point. Miss you, Kylie. Angelina Love, and then finally, Genocide. Eliminations went as such. Kylan King was eliminated by Markova via pinfall. Yeah, gauntlets aren't just over the top rope. It's pin and submission as well. Speaking of submission, Samantha Starr got submitted by Genocide. And then Max the Impaler pinned Natalia Markova in a brutal powerbomb. Missa Kate got eliminated over the top by Kylan King. Maddie Rankowski actually ran out of the arena after Max the Impaler showed up. Taryn Terrell got eliminated over the top rope by Max. And Judy Lynn and Angelina Love over the top rope by Max. And then Genocide by pinfall, which that was impressive. So getting title shot night 2, Max the Impaler. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It was a bit of a cluster, but you can still tell what's going on. I was very entertained by it. Alright, next up, we have the NWA National Heavyweight title on the line. As we have Scion challenging... Oh, hold on. Jax Dane, the Dane event, the champion. This was a fantastic bout. I absolutely loved it. A lot of tight, snug holds, a lot of big moves from Dane, including a big clothesline, which I thought was going to finish the match, but the ref was out, and, distraction came from Austin Idol. Scion then hit his finisher for the win, which... Winner, new national champion, Scion. Long time coming for Scion. This was a fantastic bout, and it's highly, highly recommended that you go check it out. Next up, we got a good old-fashioned tables match, as Bully Ray comes out of retirement to take on his old Aces and Eights buddy, Mike Knox. Ooh, this was a big, hard-hitting affair. I don't think Bully took any bumps, but I didn't expect him to because he's, a little older. I believe Mike Knox set up the table, but then he got put through it. Kind of basic table match fare, but I did enjoy it, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Next up, a bit of a sad replacement here, as it was supposed to be the Commonwealth Connection defending their tag titles against La Rebellion, but what's his name? The British Bulldogs kid got sick. Apparently, that's what the report is. Get well soon, buddy. I hope you heal up and you're coming back and challenge for the tag straps. So that left La Rebellion without a challenger. Their replacements, Hawks Aerie, Luke and PJ Hawks, the father and son tag team. Now, was I really expecting a upset here? Not really, because as much as I like Hawks Airy, La Rebellion is, I'd say, the more marketable and interesting tag team. They tore the house down, I think. I think this was one of the better matches of night one. A lot of flying at La Rebellion with Luke trying to keep up. PJ with more of the power stuff. Ultimately, finish came down with Damien 666, Bestia's father, who was at ringside, spitting his mist at, I believe it was Luke. Then Rebellion hit their finisher for the win. So, winners, new NWA Tag Team Champions, La Rebellion, 2-time champs. Funny thing is, Davey Boy still has one half of the titles. Doug Williams had to relinquish his. Hopefully they challenge for the belts real soon, because that's still an interesting story to tell. And final for night one. That's right, we're just getting to the main event of night numero uno. We have Camille taking on Taya Valkyrie for the NWA World Women's Championship. And boy, oh boy, did these two tear the house down. I'm going to believe this is on my list for Match of the Year candidate. It's that good. Camille goes for the spear kind of early on. Valkyrie counters. Valkyrie with her, like, Camille had herself tangled in the ropes, and Valkyrie with her sliding, like, suplex. It's hard to explain, but I'm going to say watch it and you will understand how cool that spot is. A lot of counters to each other's finishers. I believe Valkyrie at one point hit a stomp on Camille, which is, I believe is her finisher. But then Camille kicked out. Camille, after a big old midair spear, 1, 2, 3, winner, still women's champion, Camille. But night isn't that over yet, as out comes her next challenger, Max the Impaler. I'm going to give this double thumbs up. This was easily match of the night, and I'm going to say an absolute must-see match, and a potential match of the year candidate. So that was definitely a fun one. All right, now for night two, and we gotta start, of course, with the pre-show. So first pre-show match, a bit of an interesting one. I don't think they used to have ever met in the ring, as it is Doug Williams taking on Red Titus. And apparently it was a submission match, in which, cool. At one point, I do believe Doug Williams went for the Chaos Theory, which I love that move. That's a great move. And then Red Titus counters. A lot of good deep submission holds, including, I believe, a crossface by Titus. But then time ran out, and it ended in a draw, which hopefully they have another rematch somewhere down the line. Next matchup for the pre-show, we have Angelina Love and Taryn Terrell. Nothing really to say about this match. I think it was just kind of filler. Like, it was interesting. Angelina Love got the win, of course. Gonna give it a kind of a thumbs over here. There was some issues. Like, obviously, Terrell isn't really a wrestler anymore, and she tried to delay as much as possible. So, when there was a match, it was fine. Alright, next match, we have Kerry Morton taking on Gustavo Aguilar. This one was definitely a lot of fun. Very high-paced, very Very, very well thought out. And yeah, I'm going to give this a thumbs up. Big win for Kerry Morton after the loss to Homicide. And our final match of the pre-show is a 6-man Queen Bee match, which is interesting because so it starts out a 6-man tag, which 3-on-3. The winning team then goes on to face each other in a triple threat elimination match, where the winner is crowned Queen Bee, which I don't really know what that means. I guess they were just trying to add stakes to this match, which that's fine. Yeah, Natalia Markova, Missa Kate, and Maddie Rankowski taking on Kylan King, Genocide, and Taya Valkyrie. And boy, oh boy, I thought the powerhouses were going to get the big win here. A lot of big-time moves. At the end of the day, Missa Kate hit a big old roll-up on Kylan King for the win. This next match was surprisingly good. And I'll give it a thumbs up. Like, it was a little bit short for my liking, but the 6-person tag was, I thought, very good. This next part of the match, you now have Missa Kate taking on Maddie Rankowski and Natalia Markova. It was definitely a bit slow to start, but once they got momentum, I feel like they put on a really good match in which Natalia Markova got the win. Overall, not really something to write home about, but it was very, very entertaining. So I'm going to give it thumbs right here. Okay. Now, next match, we have the best 2 out of 3 falls match between Colby Carino and Caprice Coleman. I am seriously surprised about how Caprice can still go. He's a fantastic competitor. But Colby outmaneuvered. Caprice got a quick roll to put him up 1-0. But then Colby came back strong and took 2 falls for a big win. So hopefully they do something interesting with Colby going forward. And yeah, hopefully it'll be fun. Next up, we have a 12-man battle royale to crown the first ever NWA, well, not the first ever, but the first modern NWA United States Tag Team Champions. This was a cluster. This isn't like the Royal Rumble. Everyone starts at the same time, and then eliminations happen over the top rope, both feet hit the floor. And honestly, it was entertaining for what it was, but it was too much of a cluster. I'm glad the Fixers won because I think they deserved something. But overall, not a great bout, honestly. You can barely tell what was going on, and it was easily the worst match of the weekend. Next up, a very interesting match as 2 relative newcomers to the NWA face off as it's Magic Jake Dumas taking on Mercurio. I kind of forget what started this feud. I think Mercurio has a talk show that he does on NWA USA. And Jake kind of insulted him for it or something. I don't know. Overall, it was a fine match. Very kind of slow, but very, very, very methodical, I guess, is the word I can use. Wasn't a match to really write home about. I don't think so, but it was interesting for what it was, as Magic Jake Dumas gets a sneaky win. Next up, a match that I feel like was very underrated, as you have the MLW Openweight Championship on the line. That's right, Davey Richards defending his title against a very, very interesting challenger, Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And honestly, I thought Mason used his power really well with the finesse of Davey Richards. Match was definitely a big guy versus small guy dynamic, which is simple yet effective. Uh, Davey outsped him and got a big old submission victory. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It was a really entertaining match. And I hope Davey continues his tour of the different promotions while MLW is on hiatus. Alright, next match. Scion, the new NWA National Heavyweight Champion, takes on his... Oh yeah, the post-match in the Jack Stain Scion match on night 1, Anthony Mayweather shows up and he tries to cost Jack Stain. But that it kind of works, but not for till later. So now he's getting his rematch for the openweight for the national title. Overall, it was a bit of a slow match. Were there some entertaining spots? Sure, but overall, it was okay. Like, again, like nothing to write home about. It was a good technical bout, but with Mayweather, things are slowed down to like 2, and it's just it really didn't inspire a reaction out of me when Scion won. Although I am glad Scion won. He definitely deserves a bit more of a push. I'm gonna say another okay match. This next match, though, oh boy, this match went everywhere. As it's Pretty Empowered defending their women's tag team titles against former champions, the Hex, in a street fight. And of course, the usual street fight garb. Then you got trash cans, kendo sticks. It was nuts, man. It was a lot of fun. I can definitely follow what was going along. At one point, the Hex hit their tag team finisher, which was broken up. Roll up by Kenzie Page on Marty Bell. 1, 2, 3. Winners, still tag team champions. Now, hopefully, we get a little bit of an influx of women's tag teams in the NWA, because they kind of need them. Other than the Hex, they don't really have tag teams, which is a shame. Next up, we have NWA Junior Heavyweight title on the line as Homicide defends against Ricky Morton. That's right, the old rock and roller getting back in the ring to defend the honor of his boy. Again, another solid junior heavyweight match that wasn't all flippy. Although we'll get to flippy in a minute. And again, Homicide goes low. Cop Killer, 1, 2, 3. Winner, still junior heavyweight champion, Homicide. Kerry Morton comes out post-match to help his father, in which it did at one point look like Homicide was going to hit both of them, but he is then escorted out of the ring. I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. It was, again, a lot of fun, and I'm not sure who's going to dethrone Homicide, because he's been a heck of a champion so far. Alright, next up, we have Nick Aldis taking on Flip Gordon. I will say, as much as I don't like Flip Gordon for, just check his Twitter, because he's one of those. But overall, the speed of Flip Gordon and the more finesse and technical style of Nick Aldis did very, very well. And then Aldis won by the Kingsland Cloverleaf, which, that was the right move. And while both guys went, had their handshake, their respect for each other, out comes Odinson, who decks both of them. So I guess Odinson and Aldis are going to be feuding in the future, unless Flip Gordon sticks around, which I kind of hope not. Overall, I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. Next up, a Missouri Tornado Tag Team match, which basically means no rules. As you have J.R. Kratos and the Pope taking on Aaron Stevens and Rodney Mack. Now, this match did not stay in the ring too long, and it went back to the stage area, in which there are 2 screens that are showing what matchup is on. Although it does not show the match itself, which, that's an interesting choice. And then you could see the shadows of both competitors, of all 4 competitors on both sides, just beating on each other. Rodney Mack eventually does go down, and then Kratos and Pope take turns decking Aaron Stevens across the aisleway, that was a fun spot. I loved that. Match does not make it back to the ring. Rodney Mack does get back up and tries to submit Pope. Kratos takes his legs out from under him, which leads to a pinfall by Pope and the win for Pope and Kratos. For a kind of jokey match, I had a lot of fun with this. Like the brawling, of course, was good, but then when they went, behind the screens and you can see them shadow fighting, that was the absolute best. I'm going to give this a thumbs up, and I'm going to give it my must-watch seal of approval. This next match is a bit interesting. Set up on night 1, you have Tom Latimer versus EC3. Now, if you don't know about EC3, he has recently started his own smaller promotion called Control Your Narrative, who has been pretty much been doing their shows in like malls and stuff, like very small venues. So match starts out fine. Latimer gets the upper hand a little bit. Out comes up other members of Control Your Narrative. I forget their names, but I do believe Adam Scherr, the former Braun Strowman, was mentioned a couple times. So the match ends in a DQ, and it looked like EC3 was going to batter Latimer with a chair, but instead he sets it up and sits down in front of him. And then the Control Your Narrative guys leave. And it was definitely a nothing match, but the angle itself was a bit interesting, so I am definitely interested in seeing where this goes. Next up, we have the semi-main event. The NWA World Women's title on the line, as you have Camille taking on Max the Impaler. And boy, oh boy, I had fun with this. A couple of powerhouses smacking together. It felt like when you were a kid and you had like the Power Rangers toys versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys, and you just kind of smash them together. This is the match that embodies that, and I had so much fun. Max did at a couple points go for her finisher, but Camille counters. Like, I'm going to say this, I love how Camille has evolved in the ring. Like, is she perfect? No. Is she really good? Absolutely. Like, she has improved leaps and bounds over these last couple of years in NWA. Especially as their main champion. Like, And again, winner by the spear, Camille. I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. And again, must watch, seal of approval. And Fine Alamo. Oof. Match I've been dreading. As you have Trevor Murdoch defending his NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Tyrus. Now, and of course Tyrus is the TV champion. Now. Originally, there was a tournament to crown a number one contender in which Aldis won. And then for whatever reason, he got replaced by Tyrus, which left a lot of people scratching their heads. Now, there is a stipulation on the title Tyrus holds that if you successfully defend it, I want to say it was 7 times, you get an automatic World Heavyweight title shot. Now, he did not use that option, and he defended it a couple more times. So, yeah, and this wasn't him cashing in his opportunity. He was kind of given this match, this shot, which I was dreading Tyrus winning here, like, without a doubt. Like, don't get me wrong, he has been good in the ring for a bit, but he's usually gassed by the middle of it. So, anyway, Murdoch, like, right off the bat, goes for his finisher. 1, 2, kick out by Tyrus. And Tyrus just starts battering poor Trevor Murdoch, including his finisher, which is the heart punch, which is, it's brutal looking. Like, dang. And Tyrus and Murdoch both, while the ref was down, both looked to hit each other with the ring bell. Ultimately, neither do because they have some honor or something. I don't know. Although it was an interesting spot. Final moments came with a surprise top rope bulldog, which is Trevor Murdoch's finisher. A quick pin and a win. It's interesting for these two. Yeah, they're kind of limited in the ring, but I think they put on a decent match. Not the best match. Definitely not a main event match. However, I do believe I did have a good time with this. So I'm going to kind of right here. Not great, but not bad. Interesting thing, post-match, Trevor Murdoch gets on the mic, tries to heap some praise on Tyrus, and then Tyrus just walks out, which, yeah. Murdoch then thanks the fans, thanks the crowd at home, and then we go off the air. Overall, a very entertaining show, some really good to decent wrestling, and some interesting stories told and are yet to be told. So I am excited to see where the NWA goes in the near future. Alright, that is it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're not. And let me know what you thought of the show if you watched it. Now, coming up, we got another big weekend of pro wrestling. As Saturday, we have WWE's Clash at the Castle in Cardiff? Yeah, Cardiff, Wales, which, that's going to be interesting, man. Like, from what I've heard from that show, it's going to be interesting. And then on Sunday, we have AEW's big show, All Out, in which, for right now, there isn't a world title match. So we'll see what happens there. I hope you guys join me for that. And I shall see you next time. Peace.